Thanos did exactly what he said he was going to do. He wiped out 50% of all living creatures.
Our work on the end battle was kind of encompassed all the different aspects of modern digital visual effects work. We had lead digital characters, we had giant battle scenes with entirely digital armies, the battles taking place in an environment that's almost entirely digital. Lots of complex simulation work with destruction events and fire and complex all the superpowers often involve simulation work. Digital doubles of like 47 lead Marvel characters for those wide battle shots. So a fantastic space to be working in. I think the way that they really make it work is that they keep these vast battles, they keep them personal. So even though you've got these huge, wide, epic shots of the armies clashing, those are actually quite few and far between. We don't spend a lot of time in that sort of space, and we quickly drill into the individual complex battles, all the emotional lines that are playing out with all these multitude of heroes that are coming together on this battlefield. Chunks of it could be blocked out quite early on, but there were pieces of the puzzle that were about tying it all up. The sequence was entirely filmed within the studio. They're being filmed on a green screen stage, but depending on how it plays out, we may or may not keep the set part of the environment, and sometimes what we'll do is we'll end up just keeping the actor's face. We actually welcome the opportunity to replace the environment in that way because it liberates us to take control of the lighting of the scene in many ways. In terms of bringing this new Thanos to the screen, there are a couple of very up-to-the-minute developments that were coming out of our facial R&D unit at Weta Digital that we got to capitalize on. One was a thing called deep shapes. So like an added octave of detail to the facial performance. What deep shapes gives us is extra complexity when the face transitions from one expression to the next. So in the intermediary frames, we're getting a sense of more of the mass of the tissue. So we're getting a little bit of inertia, a little bit of fine level motion that wouldn't be there otherwise. But the start shape and the end shape of that transition are still exactly the same. So the animator still has complete control of those. It's an analytic approach, so it's not a simulation as such, but it doesn't involve facial modelers having to craft a whole lot of extra shapes. It's the shapes are automatically derived. So if you subtract the version with deep shapes from the version without deep shapes, you can actually see these little subtle movements happening and the difference. We like to get things through the render farm overnight, but some of those big battle shots, with thousands of digital extras, complex simulation work going on, there's weeks of rendering if you look at it, breaking it down, just in some of the shots. But we do have a big render farm, so we got it all through. There was a huge amount of pressure that this was the culmination of 22 films, and not to muck it up was what everybody felt. So there was a huge amount of focus on doing justice to this whole huge arc of storytelling.
This is the fight of our lives.
This is gonna work, Steve.
I know it is. Because I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't.